We're going to bring in Leland Vittert right now to talk a little bit more about this. Leland, thanks for coming in the morning, as always. Of course, you host On Balance in the evening. But as we talked about with Joe here, this is, in a sense, largely symbolic. She's been acting as an independent. She's not leaving the Democratic caucus likely. Why make this announcement, and is the timing strategic?
Well, of course, the timing is very strategic. You do this the same week that Democrats are celebrating and breathing a huge sigh of relief that Raphael Warnock won. So it's 51-49. They no longer needed Kamala Harris as a tiebreaker. You might call it a cry, not for help, but a cry for relevancy. Because at 51-49, Chuck Schumer all of a sudden got a lot more wiggle room. It took away Joe Manchin's and, for that matter, Kyrsten Sinema's sort of unilateral veto power that caused enormous problems for Democrats over the past 2 years. Combine that with the fact that Republicans now control the House of Representatives. And suddenly Kyrsten Sinema went from being this sort of incredibly important fixture in the Senate and reporters following her around, what's she going to do, what she's going to do, what she's going to do, to just another one of 51 Democrats in the Senate on a split Capitol Hill. This makes her relevant and interesting and edgy and all the things that she wants to do. It also opens up enormous fundraising possibilities from a lot of the groups now that are trying to talk about a third way or a no labels, a new choice. All these groups that have a lot of billionaire-backed money behind them to come up with some kind of middle ground. This opens her up to receive the benefit of all those donations.
Yeah, she has a very interesting reputation in Washington for all the reasons that you mentioned, in addition to the fact that she competes in Ironman triathlons, and she sometimes sides with Republicans. Do you think, is there any indication that she's going to actually vote more on the Republican side now that she's an independent?
Well, Winston Churchill once said, anybody can rat, but it takes real ingenuity to re-rat. I'm not sure there's any indication that she has changed any of her political views. Perhaps this just raises the cost to Democrats to continue to keep her happy. And we've seen some reporting that she perhaps is not all that happy and was a little annoyed that Joe Manchin got so much focus and continued to have so much power. And if you think about sort of what Manchin was able to extract or thought he could extract for West Virginia and the way he could rewrite legislation unilaterally to simply sort of conform to what he wanted as opposed to what 49 other senators wanted, as Bernie Sanders would say, that was probably a little irksome to Kyrsten Sinema. And now this is her chance to have something akin to that power, although it's going to be pretty weak in comparison.
How can Republicans capitalize on this?
Well, so far, probably not much, although any time your enemy is having problems, sit back and pop popcorn. So for Republicans, any division inside the Democratic caucus of the Senate is a good thing, especially since they've got their own razor-thin majority in the House. And of course, we're going to see Democrats trying to make mischief among Republicans in the House, and we're going to have Republicans trying to make mischief among Democrats in the Senate. There was sort of this out there theory among some Republicans that they could get in a 50-50 Senate. They were going to try to get Manchin to switch, see what they could offer him to get him to come to the Republican side, giving Republicans both the House and the Senate. But given the way that it's structured right now, Republicans would have to pick off two, which seems pretty impossible, especially given that Sinema, at least from what we can tell, has moved the chess piece and made her play right now.
Is she relating to a segment of the population that wants to see more moderation between the parties, or is she really, in one sense, alienating herself from her colleagues?
Both. What the question, and I think we're going to probably find this out in the next couple of days, right, is what did she really get from this, or what does she want from this? Because you do this not typically in Washington, and forgive my cynicism of politicians, but you do this because you want something. Either you want to be able to run unopposed in a primary because you're worried about a far left progressive challenge in the primary back home. You do this because you want a certain committee assignment or chairmanship, and you think you can extract that from Chuck Schumer by saying, okay, I'll come back into the Democratic fold, or I won't mess up your plans and vote with the Republicans. You do this because you want something. What exactly that want is, or what she's trying to protect, is yet to be seen. But there is some indications, at least from Axios, when she talks about that's why I have joined the growing number of Arizonans who reject party politics by declaring my independence from the broken partisan system in Washington. That speaks a little bit to an idea that she is trying to insulate herself against a potential primary challenge that she would have had as a Democrat and save the war chest for what would be the general election.
Leland Vittert joining us this morning. Thank you so much. A lot of people talking about this story. You can watch Leland every weeknight, 7 p.m., 6 Central Time.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.